Wallace.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and all members of this committee. My name is Dennis Wallace. I am a software engineer employed by the FAA, and I am currently assigned to the Rotorcraft Certification Office in Fort Worth, Texas, as the FAA Software Technical Specialist. I have been employed by the FAA for the past 12 years. Prior to my employment with the FAA, I worked for the Department of Defense in various positions for 26 years. I am also a veteran of the United States Air Force, having served 4 years on active duty and 21 years on active reserve. I am here before you today to give an account of my recollection of the events and the final days leading up to the issuance of an FAA Type Certificate for the Eclipse 500 very light jet airplane. My specific role in this project was to provide typical FAA certification oversight of Eclipse and its suppliers' development of airborne software for this aircraft to ensure that it satisfied the safety requirements defined in the applicable federal aviation regulations. According to what the company submitted and FAA agreed to, Eclipse and its suppliers were to develop their software in accordance with the guidelines of RTCA DO-178B as a means to secure FAA approval for the digital computer software as a showing of compliance to 14 CFR 23.1301 and 14 CFR 23.1309. As there are no specific regulations that discuss how to certify software, these are the governing safety regulations, and DO-178B is the standard FAA recommended approach for the certification aspects of airborne software. DO-178 was published in 1992 and has become the universally accepted governing procedure for such software certification efforts. DO-178B uses layers of checks and balances in an attempt to prevent errors from manifesting in the code. These include a defined and structured development process, independent peer reviews, quality assurance, configuration management, and the rigor of testing that must be accomplished. On the morning of September 12, 2006, while conducting a software review at one of the Eclipse suppliers, I received a telephone call informing me that I needed to attend a meeting at a hotel in Albuquerque on September 13th, and that I should be prepared to give a status report for the software being developed by that particular supplier. When I arrived for that meeting, I was prepared to report the facts that the supplier had not yet completed final design review, had not entered test readiness review, and that the company was aware that dead code still needed to be removed. Most importantly, I was also going to report that, in my opinion, only approximately 1/3 of the required objectives of DO-178B had been satisfied. Instead of support, what I received was a rather harsh line of questioning from the FAA Air 1 and Air 100 managers that basically questioned the validity and utility of the long-accepted DO-178B software certification procedure. They also hopped on the fact that there were no airworthiness rules specifically related to software certification. I tried to explain to them that Eclipse had signed up to comply with DO-178B for themselves and the suppliers. I went on to state to them that while it is true that there are no Part 23 rules that are unique to software approval, DO-178B is a traditionally and universally accepted means to secure FAA approval, which is applicable to all systems and equipment on board the aircraft. Also, DO-178B provides a level playing field for all aircraft software developers, and as such, it contributed to a standardized approach to the software aspects of certification. I was told by the Air 1 manager, in what I perceived to be a very direct, animated, and threatening manner, that my position on this constituted antiquated thinking, and that I best start thinking outside the box. He further stated that we were here to save the company, and then looking directly at the then Rotorcraft Directorate Manager, said he shouldn't have to come to Albuquerque to do his job. That was when I realized the supply was not the problem, I was. On the following morning, I attended a meeting at Eclipse along with other FAA personnel. In that meeting, the company proposed a mitigation strategy that the company wanted the FAA to accept as an alternative to the supplier having to satisfy software objectives of DO-178B. It is my continued opinion to this day that FAA management was strongly encouraging the FAA team to accept this proposed company mitigation strategy. The next week, I telephoned the supplier's designated engineering representative and asked him to submit an FAA Form 8110-3 stating that the software satisfies DO-178B and complies to 23.1301 and 1309. I received the requested 8110-3 stating that it was, to the extent demonstrated by partial compliance with 178B. This became part of the mitigation package for which I was asked to sign off on. I did so on September 28th by stating only that I concur that the software partially complies with DO-178B. The clear implication here is that neither the designated engineering representative nor I concurred that the software was completely compliant. When I arrived at work on Monday, October 2nd, I was surprised to hear that Eclipse had received its type certificate the previous Saturday, September 30th. This concludes my opening remarks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and honorable members of this committee.